So I believed that my concession within 14 hours of the close of the polls was in the supreme interest of Ghana's democracy. Elections were held just last month. As an incumbent vice president, I was also the ruling party candidate for the presidency. Before the election, there was the usual anxiety expressed by the opposition, as well as the diplomatic community. And we have this expression of anxiety virtually in every election. But there was this anxiety expressed by the diplomatic community and the opposition about the transparency, credibility, and fairness of the impending election. The opposition claimed that government had a plan to rig the election. I believe this is a standard claim by all opposition parties in any election in Africa. Frankly, notwithstanding the above, I, as the presidential candidate of my party, I was confident in Ghana's electoral process, as the Electoral Commission had demonstrated over time fairness and transparency. In fact, in Ghana, we spent quite a lot of time on electoral reform over the years. In addition to this, I was confident of winning the election on December 7th, based on what I considered to be the solid record of achievement, notwithstanding the economic challenges we faced. However, when the polls closed on December 7th and counting began, we started receiving the results from our party's collation centers. We had set up a very elaborate scheme of collating our results, and we started receiving the results from our collation sectors. By 3 a.m. on Sunday, because the election was on Saturday, it was obvious from the data that we had received from our collation centers that my opponent, the former president and now president, John Dramani Mahama, had decisively won the election. I knew, so by 3 a.m., I had come to this conclusion that we had lost the election. I knew it would take between 48 to 72 hours for the Electoral Commission to collate and announce the official results. I was very cognizant of the tension and the potential violence that could result if there was a long, drawn-out process of announcing the results. Indeed, the tension had begun to mount. I therefore took the decision to hold a press conference at 9 a.m. the next morning. I asked for them to call the press the next morning at 9 a.m. to concede the election to my opponent, even before the EC had announced and collated the results. You can imagine how incredulous some of even my team members were about my decision to do this. They said, we have to wait for the EC. And I said, our data collation, I believe, is correct. The EC will not have any different data from what we have collected. So I believed that my concession within 14 hours of the close of the polls was in the supreme interest of Ghana's democracy and peace.